Hey, today we are going to delve into 1 Samuel chapter 17, and I'm going to look at the first 11 verses. Now the Philistines gathered their forces for war and assembled at Socoh in Judah. Saul and the Israelites assembled and camped in the valley of Elah and drew up their battle line to meet the Philistines. The Philistines occupied one hill and the Israelites another, with the valley between them. Now just some quick geography. The valley of Elah is about 15 miles to the west of the town of Bethlehem. Bethlehem is about 5 miles away from Jerusalem, so Elah is about 20 miles away from the capital. Here is a modern picture of the valley of Elah. You can see one hill in the distance where the Philistines would draw up their battle lines, and we're standing on the other hill. And in between was the battlefield. Today, it is a very rich agricultural area. The scripture says, a champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out from the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a measure, or in a span. He was nearly 10 feet tall. You know, the Guinness World Book of Record, they identify Robert Wadlow as being the tallest man on earth. He was only 8 feet 11. Goliath was about a foot taller than Robert Wadlow. And just look at how Robert towers over ladies of his time. Goliath, the scripture says, had a bronze helmet on his head, and he wore a coat of scale armor of bronze weighing 5,000 shekels. His armor weighed about 126 pounds. On his legs he wore bronze greaves, and a bronze javelin was slung on his back. His spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, nearly 6 feet long, and its iron point weighed 600 shekels. My friends, that is 15 pounds. His shield bearer went ahead of him, and Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Why do you come out and line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine? And are you not servants of Saul?" Saul was the king of Israel, the first king of Israel. Goliath said, "Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." Now, both sides would have been familiar with this kind of battle. Oftentimes, they would choose one mighty warrior to represent the entire army. See, they believed that whoever was the strongest god would defeat the other. Whoever was the strongest god would be victorious, and the other army would become their slaves. Goliath went on to say, "This day I defy the armies of Israel. Give me a man and let us fight each other." On hearing the Philistines' words, Saul, King Saul, and all the Israelites were dismayed and terrified. You see, right there, the Israelite army, they're trusting in themselves. They're trusting in their own power. They're trusting in their own skill, their own ability over and above God. And so for 40 days, every morning and every evening, Goliath would come out of the battle lines, he would stand in the fields, and he would taunt the armies of Israel. Israel, they needed a champion, and they looked to their king. They looked to King Saul. You see, the armies of Israel, they placed their trust, they placed their hope in Saul. In 1 Samuel chapter 9, the scripture says, Kish had a son named Saul, as handsome as a young man as could be found anywhere in Israel, and he was a head taller than anyone else. So Saul was a big man. Saul was their champion. Saul was their giant. And so the people placed their hope in Saul. And you see, that's where this story intersects with our lives today. We place our hope in what we depend on. We place our hope in who we depend on. And when whoever or whatever it is that we depend on, when they fail us, when they don't meet our expectations, when disappointment sets in, well, the measure of our hope becomes the measure of our anger, the measure of our disappointment, our disdain toward that individual or that situation.